Happy post Thanksgiving and welcome back to No Misses. Make sure to subscribe and comment if you want. Today I'll be talking about the LA Lakers and how they had quietly one of the best off seasons. Not quietly, but the best off season out of any team, especially for a championship contender. They lost a couple trade pieces, but they or assets, but they didn't really lose much. They lost Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee. I think the most major loss was Rondo, just because how he's just a very impactful player. He's like that Andre Iguodala guy, where he's not gonna put up the best numbers in the regular season, but when the playoffs he turns it up. But also they really just replaced it with more depth and just I think overall better players, especially for the regular season, and that will help not that will help LeBron and ease LeBron's regression, because at this point I think we could see some type of regression. I'll call it when I see it, but yeah. So they brought Dennis Schroeder in from OKC Thunder. This was kind of a four-way move for the OKC Thunder. They're just trying to make the Lakers better, so so they could beat the Clippers, because the OKC Thunder want the Clippers to do bad, so that their two major stars will leave and they could basically be the Brooklyn Nets 2.0. So they got Dennis Schroeder, good floor spacer, really good guard, good playmaker. Not as good as Rondo as a defending, but will ease pressure off LeBron playmaking wise, and will also space out the floor more than Rondo did. They got Wesley Matthews to replace Danny Green, even though they traded Danny Green for Dennis Schroeder. Wesley Matthews is a good D&3 player. I don't know how at this age, where at 34, 35, where he could defend as good as Danny Green, but I think he will be more consistent of a shooter than Danny Green at this age. They, with their surprising mid-level exception, they brought in Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell is the reigning six man of the year. Didn't play too good for the Clippers during the bubble, but he really didn't even play his full 8 games, like preseason, if you would like to say. But they're gonna try to replace Montrezl Harrell with Dwight Howard, which I would see that as an upgrade, just as a rim runner, pick and roll guy. Not the best defender, not the best two-way defender, but offensive wise, he could finish at the rim, and he's somebody that could play with AD and Marc Gasol, which next coming is Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is at the age of 36. Didn't really have a good year. I'd put him in like in the same category as Rondo and Andre Iguodala, where they won't be having the same regular seasons as they had in the past. But once the playoffs come, they'll ramp it up. Marcus, I feel like this is a big pickup, so Anthony Davis wouldn't have to play five so much to have them space out the floor that much. Marc Gasol is a 36% shooter from the three throughout his career, and last year he shot like 38% on like maybe two threes per game. But he just spaces out the floor, good defensive threat, replace like what Dwight Howard and Joe McGee. Even though I think Dwight Howard is probably the more athletic center, or Joe McGee on the perimeter. Marc Gasol, I think, as a paint defender, I think he'll probably do the same amount of job, even maybe even better. They brought back Markieff Morris as a stretch for just for a little bit of ball handling, and also just for some depth. He didn't play that bad. He didn't play bad in the bubble, but he was nothing really excuse me. He was nothing really amazing to crowd about. He was decent in the bubble. They brought back KCP. KCP has made so much money with the Lakers at this point. I think he's made like probably $90 million on like 1 year deals. This time he signed like a 3 year $40 million year deal, thanks to Rich Paul and the GM facts. Um, yeah, another D&3 player, more depth to the wing. So their starting lineup would be looking like Dennis Schroeder, KCP, or Alex Caruso. They would have LeBron as small forward, and then they would have AD as power forward, and then they'd probably have Marc Gasol if anything. I can see Marc Gasol starting instead of Montrezl Harrell. But the bench would be Alex Caruso, then probably Montrezl coming off the bench. I think that's where he best plays, even though he's playing probably like starting caliber minutes. And then you have Alex Caruso with Markieff Morris, and then if you want KCP or Wesley Matthews. But I feel like this team, a lot of like contending teams usually get worse after they win, just because everybody kind of wants to strip away their pieces. And this year it seems like it, but this year we're in a very unique situation where the second there's their the best competitor they have is probably the Clippers, and um, as you see, you have the OKC Thunder trying to help the Lakers win, even though they lost the deal in the Lakers trade. In the long term, if the OKC Thunder break up and Paul George and Kawhi go their separate ways, you have a Brooklyn Nets situation 2.0, and basically OKC Thunder become kind of a dynasty in Sam Presti. It would probably be considered a top 5 GM of all time, along with Danny Ainge and like Daryl Morey or whatever. So yeah, um, if you guys want to subscribe and stuff, make sure to comment. I know my fam's been supporting me a lot during this, so I just want to put out love to them. But yeah, if you stayed around for the whole um, if you stayed around for the whole video, just comment socks if you really want to. So I guess I'll talk to you later. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving and see you.